Closing the door behind him, Frederick still can't process what just happened. He can feel his heart beating in his chest, the blood pressure probably beyond good and evil. Did that really just happen? Did he really sign a contract for off-world deployment? For Helios? He can't help but smile. His dream of finally leaving this place had just gone true. Straightening up and firmly grabbing his slingbag's loop, he makes his way back down the hallway with a slight spring in his step. This time without the anxiousness of facing a super important situation that will decide a majority of your future. He can really take the place in. Sure, on his way to the meeting room, he might have occupied his mind with looking at the paintings, but now he can actually take a real look at them. Whoever that Dreyfus guy is, he really did something here. The paintings emanate an aura of a hard-to-describe emotion. Even an absolute outsider to fine art like him can sense it. The spirit of discovery? Or maybe an appreciation for the immense effort it takes to create something out of inert materials. He can't pinpoint it, but there is a definitive aura of awe. Sadly, this moment gets interrupted as Frederick is pulled out of his thoughts by a synthetic but soft female voice talking to him. "Hello? May I assist you? It seems that you are lost. Do you need directions?" Another, or maybe even the same, obelisk bot stands beside him, completely still and unmoving, his lights having taken on a blue hue. He can't help but feel an underlying creeping feeling, and it's not a pleasant one. Whatever the reason, those things creep him out a bit. Surely it has to be a coincidence that it approached him just a few moments after he stopped in the corridor, right? They wouldn't be following him. Turning to the uncanny obelisk, Frederick shakes his head and gives himself a mental scolding. Drop it already, it's just a machine. No, I'm not really lost. I was just taking a look at this painting, but I guess I should take my leave, huh? Nervous about how the machine will respond, he feels himself subconsciously clenching his jaw. But why? It's not like he is forbidden from taking a look, right? The bot's lights flicker orange again for a moment, after which they turn blue again. Understood. This unit will guide you towards the elevators, as soon as you are finished taking a look at this painting. The last part was pronounced differently, almost as if it tried to imitate making quotes with non-existent hands. What is up with the way they speak? He ruminates. This unit? The other one earlier also called itself this unit. Why not speak in first person? However, he's definitely finished with his little art appreciation trip. With that thing monitoring him. Nah, not happening. That precious moment of awe is over. A bit confused by the mixed signals he is receiving, Frederick decides it would be better to just leave. Actually, I think I'm done. Show me the way. He gestures the bot to move onward, unsure if it can actually see him. As you wish, it confirms. Slightly upset, he follows. He's unsure if he should be angry with a soulless machine because, after all, it was just executing his orders, without any underlying motives or thoughts, or even sapience. Additionally, he is just too excited about actually securing a job at Helios. Keeping that thought, his mood lightens again, butterflies in his stomach rising up. He won't let his distrust towards those things ruin this moment for him. A few corridors later, he can already see the elevators again. As he approaches them, with the bot in front of him, one of the doors already starts opening, even though there are still some meters of distance between him and the door. He starts looking around. Maybe that one is for somebody else. But he can't see anybody else besides him and his, tour guide. The robot moves up to the open door and comes to a halt next to it, his lights changing from a blue to a solid orange. You have arrived at the elevators. Please step inside. It will take you to the lobby, from which you can exit the building. Have a pleasant day. This time, instead of leaving, the bot stands there as if it's waiting for him. Without saying anything, he enters the elevator. The doors close behind him, and he can feel the downwards acceleration in his stomach. Won't be gone that badly, huh? After coming to a halt, the doors open by themselves, and he is again greeted by the black marble floor expanding before him. From this perspective, the lobby looks a lot different. As it seems, there are multiple sets of elevators, which would also explain why he took an entirely different route on his way back. Intrigued, Frederick steps out of the elevator and orients himself. As he makes a visual pass of the premises, his eyes get caught on the familiar receptionist. It seems the influx of visitors hadn't died down. Instead, a second queue has formed next to the receptionist spot he talked to earlier. But now that he's got a point of reference, he knows where the exits are, and can finally leave this place. As impressive as the architecture may be, the general atmosphere of this place is still an uncomfortable one for him. While he makes his way towards the last passage, he notices a familiar face. Standing in the second line, he makes out a former classmate. A similar-aged young man with short, dark blonde hair and a nervous demeanour. Michael something. What was his last name again? Recognising him, Frederick changes his course to talk to him. Maybe they're here for a job interview as well. Frederick greets him. Hey, Mikey, what are you doing here? Haven't seen you since last summer. Surprised to hear his nickname, Michael perks up and looks about. After a quick scan of his surroundings, his eyes meet Frederick's. After Frederick gets close enough for a conversation, Michael addresses him with a hushed voice. Hey, didn't know you were here as well. I wanted to know where I would have to go for an appointment, but that stupid bot just told me to wait here in the line. You seem to be on your way out. Could you help me out? Sure. As far as I know, the elevators are autonomous and will take you to your destination on their own. I don't actually know how exactly they identify you, and I don't know if you have to register your visit or something first. It would be pretty embarrassing to walk up and nothing happens, right? Yeah, guess I'll just wait here in line then. Wouldn't want to look like an idiot, you know. But good to know. Michael pauses for a moment. But why are you here? For as I know, you still shouldn't have graduated, right? Oh, right. I just had a job interview. Went pretty well, if I can say so. Frederick smirks, as he can't contain his excitement. Damn, don't make me envious. But that means I've got a chance as well, right? But how did it go? You have to take a test or something? Frederick calmly replies, Nah, none of that sort. He just wanted to get to know me. Super weird, but I told him a bit about myself, and that was basically it. I expected something different, to be honest, but as long as it worked out, I won't complain. I mean, they're known to be unorthodox with a lot of stuff, so it shouldn't be a surprise that they do things differently when it comes to job interviews. He pauses for a moment. Ah, right. You got a pen with you? Confused, Michael replies, No, why should I? Why did I need a pen? Ah, don't worry about it. He'll give you one if you need it. They're just old-fashioned when it comes to contracts, I guess. Frederick explains. Ah, right. Got it. Michael nods with a confused expression. Noticing that the line in front of him has gone close to reception, Frederick decides to say his goodbyes. I'll leave you to it then. Seems you'll be up pretty soon. Good luck with that appointment. Frederick gives him a thumbs up and makes his way towards the exit, and notices Michael turning back to the queue in front of him. Stepping outside of the massive building, Frederick takes a look at his hologlass. 9:14, with plenty of time left before his next train back home, leaves. He starts tapping on his forearm and snaps a message towards Lars. Just came out of the building. I actually got the job. His inner child got the better of him, damn it. A few seconds later, his bracelet vibrates twice with a slight pause in between. Nice. Know you had it in ya. Nico's going crazy here. ETA at home? Frederick replies, Train leaves at 10, probably back by 11. Before his inner eye, Frederick can see Nico excitedly hitting Lars with the sofa cushions, and him complaining and trying to stop her assault crystal clear. Those two are quite the special pair. With that thought, he starts smiling. He is going to miss them once he leaves. As he opens the navigation tool, Frederick pulls out his headphones again to listen to some music. Isolated from the outside world and immersed in the melody, he makes his way towards the train station and notices that the atmosphere of his surroundings has completely changed, even though the people around him and the buildings above him haven't at all. It might be the relief he is feeling, or maybe the music makes it all appear in a different light, but the current business district isn't as oppressive as the one he walked through about an hour ago. The feeling of being inappropriate is completely gone, and instead replaced by an almost calming atmosphere of general indifference. After a few minutes of walking, he could already make out the building from the outside. Main station is actually very artistic. A large, pure white building with many angles and bold geometry, a symbol of New Vienna, sitting almost right at its centre, with many train lines expanding outwards and branching off into the various districts. It even has a shopping mall. Frederick quickly checks how much time he has left to waste exploring the station. 9:43. Unsure whether to be happy that the train is leaving soon or to be disappointed because there is not enough time to go exploring, Frederick finds a compromise by going to the nearest kiosk. He keeps an eye out while walking down the busy corridors of Main Station, the people around him hurrying to get their trains, to see their loved ones, or simply just passing through on their walk. After he spots a kiosk, he approaches a small store and looks about. The clerk is a middle-aged woman with slightly dishevelled hair and big glasses, seemingly engrossed in a book. Besides Frederick, no one else seems to have business here at the moment. Still listening to his music, he walks over and browses the news section, where his eyes fall upon the various headlines of magazines and newspapers alike, many of them being about recent scientific breakthroughs, celebrity gossip, or geopolitical events. He picks up a more scientific-looking one and recognises a face on the cover. The face of Mr. Arno Peltonen. Peltonen is a renowned physician who made waves a few years ago, and the article seems to talk a bit about him in his past, the man behind the Peltonen Principle. In a nutshell, it's the usual boring recapping of what people already know from a slightly different perspective, made to appear interesting to potential readers. Disappointing. What a waste of time. Should have gone for the gossip instead. Might have actually learned something there. Putting the magazine back, Frederick checks the time again. 9:51. Well, he better start hurrying or the train will leave without him, leaving him behind with Mr. Pelton in here. After leaving the kiosk behind, he checks the information board. Apparently his train will depart from platform H3. Off to H3 then. Making his way through the busy crowd again, he arrives at his platform. He can't wait to get home and tell them all about it. They'll be super hyped for sure, especially Nico. The rest of his way back home is rather uneventful, with the only noteworthy thing being a cargo transporter on the horizon, probably leaving for either the moon or Mars. Soon he will fly with one of them and see the stars for himself. His excitement wells up again at the thought. A childhood dream come true. As he arrives at the door to his shared apartment, he notices that the house's shared car is not in his parking spot. Without giving it any thought, he unlocks the door and steps inside. "I'm back," he calls into the hallway. After taking off his shoes, he takes off his headphones and hears the TV from the living room. Frederick wanders over to the open doorframe and peeks his head inside. "I'm back," he calls into the room. Out of the corner of his eye, he can see movement. Something is rushing towards him.